Conversation continues. A conversation also about the masking policy within San Diego Unified. The district has amended its policy. We'll talk about that and get some insight from Let Them Breathe founder Sharon McKeeman, who is also a parent here in San Diego. But speaking of kids in school, going back to school across California, as they go back to school, all children who go to public schools are getting 2 free meals from here on out.
This is possible because of a state initiative that was launched during the pandemic, and Lenneman is outside Torrey Pines High School, where, Ed, you don't think of Torrey Pines High as a place where free lunch is like high on the priority list.
No, but having said that, because we obviously were here because San Diego Union High School, 5 middle and 5 high schools are back to school, 13,000 students. So we picked Torrey Pines, and then I said, okay, certainly this is not necessarily applicable to a school where most of the students come from middle to upper middle class families, and maybe the breakfast situation and the lunch, meaning that's this universal meal program that the governor signed off on, is necessarily a huge benefit here as opposed to lower income districts. But having said that, there is food insecurity across the board here with military families and some people who, inflation, have you put gas in the car? Oh, that's right, it dropped about $3,000, yeah, right. So having said that, certainly it's nice even at upper middle class school, meaning the students and their families, to have this program. And we're going to talk briefly about that, because we also want to establish this morning that San Diego is starting classes later, and this is the trend now, 8:30 here as opposed to 7:30, and in some cases 9:30, which brings us to this young lady. She is Laurie LaRock, and she is the parent of twin boys here who are 10th graders, and they haven't gone to class yet because there's this first period at 8:30, but if you don't take first period, you get to sleep in even more, and that's okay with you.
Absolutely. They're in their prime growth and development in adolescence and puberty, and it's a really wonderful time and opportunity for them to have that extra rest. Even if they're going to bed at normal hour, they really need the development.
Do you also applaud this universal meal program, meaning both breakfast and lunch, even at a school where most of the parents can certainly afford to feed their kids?
Well, I don't make those policies, but it is nice that the kids who need that have that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, one way or the other, they're not rushing out the door with half a muffin, and they can get a good breakfast and or lunch here. Having said that, you became quite the student, parent, activist during the pandemic. This is, by the way, the first time in 3 years that the students of San Diego, 13,000 strong, are not only in class at the start of the year, they're mostly unmasked, meaning San Diego opted for a mask option. So yes, if you prefer, but most of the kids obviously and the staff and obviously the teachers signed off on this.
Absolutely, and I think there's a lot to be learned when you can actually see expressions on the teachers' faces. My children are taking a foreign language as part of their curriculum. It makes a big difference socially and emotionally, and certainly academically. And I think we've come to a point where it can be mask optional.
So as we noted when we visited with Laurie at 8 o'clock, your 2 kids basically lost their middle school years, 7 and 8. Now all of a sudden here they are adjusting to high school and the 9th grade. How are they doing? And did you feel at one point, I think we're falling behind here simply because of COVID?
It's hard to quantify what's falling behind or getting ahead, but I wanted to see how they would be adjusting to a high school academia. And last year was that transition. They're starting 10th grade, and they feel really prepared and very excited for the school year.
Okay, and again, they can now take advantage, even though school starts at 8:30, with this opting out of first period. They can be here at 9:30, so we're getting ready right now.
Absolutely. They're at home finishing up breakfast and getting themselves together, and I'm here before they are.
Do you set goals for them every year, as opposed to, I'm going to certainly monitor your academic achievement, but I've got a certain expectation here?
Definitely. I mean, I'm parenting, but I'm parenting teenagers who are starting to self-advocate and self-navigate for themselves. And so we sit down as a family, and I like to hear what their goals are. And even though they're twins, they have different goals, and I really honor and respect those.
And you became quite the activist during the COVID situation, and I think that would apply even though we've got a little more normalcy this year. Is that correct?
Correct. And I like to role model for them, and so they can see that I'm standing up for their education. I believe in public school education, and we're very excited for this year.
All right. Well, 9:30. We still got 25 minutes. Lori, thank you.
Thank you.
And all the best to Ethan and
Aiden.
Ethan and Aiden. And we are back to you guys as 13,000 kids go back to school. Poway tomorrow, a couple of weeks, it'll be the second largest school district in the state, San Diego Unified. We are in Torrey Pines, well, Torrey Highlands of Del Mar, and back to you guys.
Well, so far there at Torrey Pines High School, it looked like things went smoothly. So hopefully everyone has a wonderful day, and the teachers included.